Hi, my name's Jordan Brown. This is my 2012 Nissan Xterra. It has just over 93,000 miles on it. Why I picked the Nissan Xterra? It's a good platform. I've owned Nissans pretty much since I got my driver's license at 16. I've always liked Nissans, and it was kind of just a natural progression from drifting a 240 to I had a first gen Xterra before this. It was all rusty and stopped, tired of breaking bolts and things like that. So I bought a brand new Xterra to go off-roading.
Let's take a look under the hood. What do we got going on here, Jordan?
So it's basically Nissan, VQ40 stock motor, basically, with a Volan intake plumbed up to a snorkel, airflow snorkel. It's got the intake manifold spacer, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, it's stock.
So Jordan, can you talk about the suspension?
Yeah, so this Nissan Xterra is what they call Titan swapped or T-swapped. And basically what that entails is taking the front suspension from a Nissan Titan, which is 3 inches wider per side, and using the lower control arms from a Nissan Titan, and also the axles from a Nissan Titan, and the front differential from a Nissan Titan. All of those just bolt right in, and you basically get 3 inches wider per side. So it's a 6-inch total width increase.
How is it that Titan, that's obviously a full-size truck, this isn't. How is it that's able to just bolt onto this?
So Nissan loves to parts share. So the actual frame of the Nissan Xterra and the Nissan Frontier is the same frame, basic frame as a Nissan Titan. They're just shorter frames. So all the suspension components from a Nissan Titan, all the suspension points are exactly the same. So the stock Nissan Titan lower control arms bolt right up.
So you're saying that an Xterra basically has a lot of the same ruggedness and solidness of a full-size truck that they sold?
Correct, yeah. So the off-road model, the M226 differential is the same differential they use in the Titan. It's just narrowed for the Frontier and the Xterra. So the ring and pinions are strong and everything like that. The front differential in the Nissan Xterra and Frontier is a little smaller and weaker, but again, the Nissan Titan differential just bolts right in. And then you use stock Nissan Titan CV axles, so it's a lot of stock parts. Obviously, there are some aftermarket parts as well, like the upper control arms and things like that, the coilovers. You use aftermarket there. The tie rods, you can also use Nissan Titan tie rods. These are Nissan Titan stock inner and outer tie rods. Some people will use like an extension, but I preferred to use the just the stock parts for strength. I didn't want to add in that piece for the Nissan Titan tie rods are also beefier, so they don't bend or anything like that.
And what are you doing for shocks up front?
So these are Radflow 2.0 or 2.5s, excuse me, with 700-pound springs.
All right, Jordan, what about the suspension in the back here?
So in the back here we have Alcan leaf springs that are custom made for this for the Xterra. These are 3 inches of lift and 600 pounds over. I also have PRG shackles that are in the middle hole right now, which I believe is another 1.5 inches. The springs have sagged a little bit, so right now I'm total about 4 inches. I'm running 5160 Bilstein shocks that are a 10-inch travel shock. The Bilsteins, it's really nice. They have a short body, so you can get a 10-inch travel shock in there. This will use that full 10 inches of travel when you need it.
You done that with your diff?
Yeah, so that's an ARB diff cover for the M226. Basically, all the off-roads have that, and there's the factory locker in there.
What are you running for? Do you know what's the reshow gears?
456s because I'm running 35s on here. So I've re-geared the front and rear, and then there's also an ARB air locker in the front differential, so I'm locked front and rear
Nice.
Air locker in the front, e-locker in the back.
Nice. And what do we got here?
So for tires and wheels, we're running the KMC. I don't know what the name of them are, but you know, they're 17 by 9 plus 20 or 18 on the offset, and it's a Goodyear Duratrack in a 315 75 17 or 70 17.
So 35s.
Yeah. 34 and a half,
Yeah, exactly.
if you want to get,
Yeah,
you know,
that's what
super
they do.
technical.
Yeah. Let's talk about armored.
All right, so up front, we'll start up front. We've got a hefty Zombie Edition front bumper. Basically, the Zombie Edition added these grill slats. I really like the look. I didn't like the zombie badge, so I omitted that. And then down below, we have hefty skid plates. So we've got the radiator skid plate, behind that the engine skid plate, behind that the transmission skid plate, and behind that the transfer case skid plate, and the stock gas tank skid plate, just because I never bought one.
It looks like it's come in handy a few times.
It has been used, yeah.
That's one thing about this truck I've got to say is it does get use. It's not a pavement princess.
And then coming around the side, we have the white knuckle sliders, the best sliders on the market.
Again, they've gotten some use.
The little bit, yeah.
That's good.
And then around back here, we have a Xterra rear bumper with tire carrier and flush mounted reverse lights. Also included in there is a little air chuck for the onboard air.
Look at that.
And it does have a 48-inch high lift jack with a jack cover, which is now step 22.
All right, let's kind of cover some of your exterior changes on this.
Yeah, so exterior wise, up front, we have a 10,500 pound winch and a 20-inch single row light bar that's seen better days.
You're running synthetic line?
Yes, yeah, this is a synthetic line with just the stock hook there.
Yeah.
And
I know at least one time it was used anyway.
it's been used quite a few times, yeah. Mostly to recover other people, not myself.
I hear that a lot.
I've only recovered myself once. I've used it once to change a tire. So some creative uses there.
There you go.
Yeah, the 20-inch single row light bar. The headlights have been swapped out or retrofitted with projectors and HIDs. And then coming around to the side, I've trimmed the fenders here for fender tire clearance. I didn't want a body lift. I want the truck as low as possible while being lifted. So I cut the fenders. They've seen some better days. They've run into some rocks and things like that. Over on the driver's side, I do have an airflow snorkel that's hooked up to and sealed to the volant intake. And then up top, those are KC 6-inch HID spotlights with, well, the three center ones are spotlights. The two outer ones are like a driving pattern to fill out, you know, everything. And then mounted to the Exoscale roof rack, probably the last one in existence, the last one ever produced. That thing is gold. And we've got an ARB 2000 2100 awning, one of those two. And we've also got the WeBoost cell phone booster. And on the other side, we've got the antenna, the dual band antenna for the ham radio. And then behind that, we've got a Smitty built rooftop tent.
So pretty exterior related. What do we got here?
So this is an Air Zenith OB2 air compressor. It's a 200 PSI constant duty air compressor that puts out about 4 CFM. It's like an air suspension pump, and it's pretty high output for the amp draw that it does. And then underneath here in the stock tire carrier location, we have a 5-gallon aluminum tank, and that is also 200 PSI capable. So yeah, it's nice to be able to flip a switch when you're heading to the trailhead after your trip is done, and you can air up the tank. and then it'll basically fill 2 tires out of that tank almost instantaneously.
And then that's plumbed to that in the compressor inside, and then it's plumbed back to this. I take it for hooking up your air hoses.
Correct. Yeah.
Very nice. So I see you got some good rubber floor mats. What else we got in here?
Yeah, so we got the WeatherTech floor mats. On the center console there, we have the switch for the air compressor to turn that on. Also the digital air gauge for the air compressor, and a bulkhead mount for the ham radio microphone.
What else we got going on the interior?
All right, so at least for the head unit, we've got a 10.2-inch Android head unit that centers up nicely in the Nissan center stack. Next to that, we have the Yaesu FTM 400DR, which is a dual band and digital ham radio from Yaesu. And then we've got the microphone for the ham radio. And
pretty handy.
Yeah, and manual transmission, 6-speed off.
And you're just mounting that through the ball mounts on.
Yeah, so it's got a ram mount that's going through the center stack here, and that's bolted down. Normally that's just some little clips that go in there, but it's actually bolted down so it doesn't fall down. And then we have the dash cam here that's hooked up to the head unit, so you can review dash cam footage
that's nice.
From the head unit.
And that's all hands-free for phone and everything.
Yeah, it's got streaming, all that fun stuff. Android Auto, CarPlay.
All right, Jordan, do you have a favorite mod on this?
I guess if I would have to pick one, it would be the onboard air system. With the air compressor that I picked in the 5-gallon tank, it makes airing up a breeze, really. Usually what I have is I have a 2-tire fill system, so I'll hook up 2 tires on the one side and just let it go. And the air compressor is fairly quick, so the 2 tires slows it down a little bit, so I can go and get a drink or get a snack while it's airing up. The first 2 tires go pretty quick with the 5-gallon tank and the 200 psi, but the second 2 take a little bit. But yeah, that's got to be my favorite mod. It makes airing down that much easier, just more comfortable on the trail, and more traction and all that good stuff. And airing up just makes it so much easier.
What's thrifty about this vehicle?
I guess if you would call anything about this thing thrifty, it would be that I did all the work myself, other than building the bumpers. But installing the bumpers, installing suspension, mounting tires is one of the only other things that I have done for me, because I don't have access to a tire machine anymore. I used to be a mechanic for Nissans and things like that, and when I did have tire access, I would do my own tires, but I don't work at a shop anymore, so I don't have access to that. But yeah, all the mods have been done, installed by me. All the maintenance is done by me, so I guess that if there was anything thrifty about it, that would be it.
Since I filmed this video, Jordan has now moved on to a Titan Swap Frontier with a pop-top camper on it. So this is Raymond. Raymond's the new owner of the Xterra that he bought from Jordan. He's had it about a month or so, and he's already done a bunch of work to it. I kind of wanted to do a quick update and show you that.
So when I got this, I noticed that it sat outside for a long time. Everything mechanically had been done to it, so I thought I'd freshen it up a little bit. So I started by painting the brush guard, and I actually took out the grill and painted the grill also, the same flat black with Rust-Oleum. So that really freshened it up. Then I noticed all the plastics on the Xterra, they all turned gray, so I painted all the plastics, and I freshened up the rock guards on it also. I was going to take the plastics off, but the anchors are so delicate that I just masked all this off, sanded it down, wiped it down with alcohol, and painted the plastics with the same Rust-Oleum that has primer in it. Then I went around to the rear bumper was rusty, and so I painted this also, which I think really makes it look nice. So I noticed it still had the stock diff breather on it, so I bought a breather with a nipple on it so I could slide a hose, and ran the hose all the way up into the back of the tail light with the fuel filter, an inline fuel filter stuck on the hose, and zip tied it to the wiring in here. Then I joined an Xterra group, and I noticed somebody had mounted a table to their spare tire swing out. So now I have a spare tire table on my spare tire swing out, I screw my propane tanks on the burners right here so I can cook and have a nice table to use. It works really nice. I'm working on the interior and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, but I started by putting a new platform which extends all the way to the back of the seats. I put my refrigerator on the left side. I mount my gas tank next to it, and I put the dyno matting in for soundproofing because it's really hollow sounding because I pulled out the plastics. And my 2 bins go here, food and pots and pans and everything, and then I just bungee them to these. And it had LED lights, but they were not bright enough, so I replaced them with these. They're twice as bright as what was in here stock, so that's really nice. Mike and I engineered a light strip for at night, so when I'm here pulling stuff out and cooking, illuminates the entire back part. And the hatch rattled, so I'm a fan of these pool noodles, so I just stuck them on there and it stopped the hatch from rattling.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button and subscribe. We'll see you on the trail.